The New York Knicks have won 5 straight games, and the NBA trading deadline is in less than a week. So do they decide to move Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, Deuce McBride? We're going to talk about it all today. As always, joined by LV Live. LV, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just ready to talk these Knicks, man. They've been on a roll. Just ready to get to it, man.
Let's get to it. Look, Knicks look good, LV. Knicks look good. Look, they're 32-16, 5-game winning streak, 7-3 in their last 10 games, and they're beating good teams. Smacked around the Kings, smacked the Memphis Grizzlies, and more recently, they beat the Denver Nuggets, who, guys, I mean, they're a good team in the Western Conference. So the Western Conference is coming through MSG. Obviously, you got the Lakers on deck. Then you got Houston. That should be a fun matchup. No Anthony Davis in the Lakers game. But, you know, the talk of the town has been what should the Knicks do during the trading deadline. But we'll touch on it a little bit later. But right now, LV, Knicks are playing well. What do you see with this squad? How do we get to this 5-game winning streak, LV? How did we get here?
Oh, man, big difference 3 days make, right? You know what I mean? Prior to that 3-day rest, everybody was jumping out the windows with the Knicks, right? Saying the Knicks with this, the Knicks with that, all these different things. They get those 3 days off and you see a rejuvenated team. And I think a big part of that is, I'm sorry to say, man, a lot of people are going to kind of jump on me about this, but it's ironic that as soon as Kevin Garnett and those guys come out with that show, Tibbs changes the lineup. We go 9 deep, and look at how well we look. I mean, the team looks rejuvenated. Guys are playing no more than 35 minutes. You're just seeing a great just chemistry with everybody, even the bench unit, right? Shamit's having a couple of good games. Then, of course, you're seeing, guys like, Campaign having a good game. Then Precious looking like the second coming of Charles Oakley. Right? Then you're seeing Deuce, right? I mean, that second unit is rolling, man. And the beautiful thing about all of that is that we're not skipping a beat. They're able to hold down the fort while the top guns rest, especially being the captain, right? So to me, that's huge, man. And I'm glad you talked about the record because this is the best record the Knicks have had since that 97 team. 97 team that went 34-14 up to this point and finished the year 57-25.
That was that fight that happened in the playoffs, right? The 97 team.
Was that the Charlie Ward thing? I think that might have been. I'm not sure. I have to go back into my archives. Yeah. I was around my era.
Sorry. Didn't mean to throw you off, but yeah.
It's all right, man. It's all right. I got to go back. I was around my time too, man. I appreciate that. A curveball. That was beautiful. So that's where we got to see exactly what this team is. But we're right in par with what that team was. And that team was really, really, really good. So I think, man, we're up there in the 50s. I think we can catch that team, getting over 57 wins. But you got to love what we're seeing, man. You got to love it. And also, too, great point that you made, and I'm going to piggyback off of that. We're knocking off top guns, guys. Mm-hmm. Look what we did to Memphis. Look what we did to Denver, man. Look at that. Look at that blowout win. Look at these wins. So now there's no longer the talk of us beating up on bums. That whole December 9-game winning streak, I take this 5-game winning streak against top teams over that 9-game winning streak any day.
Likewise, and that was the main concern with a lot of Knicks fans, us included. Like, they were beating up on, the Wizards and, the Hornets and, bad losses to the Pistons at home, Hawks, but you beat the Hawks too. You got to sprinkle in the Hawks in there. They were playing well. They lost Jalen Johnson for the season. That stinks. But yeah, LV, look, this 5-game winning streak has told me, like, it has brought back a feeling, right? It brought back the feeling that I had in the beginning of the season. Like, this Knicks team can go far in the playoffs. Now, what is far? I mean, we could have different definitions of what far is. We all want them to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. We all want them to finally get past that second round that they couldn't, that they haven't gotten past in these last couple of years. And that has been the big hurdle. And, when they play like this, They're breaking records every night. The offense is clicking. 19-1 when they have 30-plus assists. They look unstoppable, frankly. And you have some marquee games coming up that I can't wait for. Boston, Cleveland. And if we win those games, the sky's going to be the limit. You know, us Knicks fans are going to go crazy. Like, we can beat these guys in the playoffs. We could beat these guys, but look, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But, yeah, LV, so look, they're 32-16. Mitchell Robinson is still, you know, his return is up in the air. I mean, it seems like his return keeps getting pushed back. And like you said, the bench has been playing well. Shaman has gone in here. Tom Thibodeau's going to Deuce McBride sooner. 9-man rotation in the first quarter. Where has this Thibs been all season? But, yeah, something happened in that 3-day break, LV. And I'm glad, you know, whatever it was, somebody got to Tom Thibodeau because, as you can see, if you don't think playing 3 to 4 minutes less per game takes a toll, like it matters going on to the other game, it matters, man. And something got to Thibs, but, you know, I love the way they're playing. And I guess I'm going back to the feeling I'm getting is they're just one piece away off the bench, I think. I just think they're one piece away off the bench. And a lot of people think that piece is Mitchell Robinson. What do you say?
I think it is Mitch.
Okay.
I think it is Mitch. I think all the trade talk about Mitch to stop. I think he is the guy. We need a legit big to come off. I would also love a wing, right? There is talks about them out there. We'll touch on that. We'll touch on the other picks that they're talking about. We'll get into that. But to answer your question, I think it is Mitch. I think he is the guy. I think that, we really have to really identify what this team is doing. And I'm glad that you mentioned the whole piece about, the Tibbs and the minutes and stuff and people going, this minutes police stuff. Everyone needs to stop with the minutes police. No one ever said that they want Campaign to play 40 minutes. No one ever said that they want Dadier to be starting. No one ever said that. Like let's really pay attention to the real people that really know this game. All we said was spell these guys, give them a couple of minutes. That's all we ever said. No one was asking for Deuce to be a starter and play 60 minutes and, he needs to, do this and, we want to draft for, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one was jumping out the window. People were just saying, give the starters time. Guys look tired. Mm-hmm. You need to kind of spell those guys. That's all people said. It's just so funny to me that now these things are happening. We look like a better team. So I think some of us know what we're talking about. Yeah. No one was saying, I'm speaking of the people who know this. Yeah. No one's saying fire Tibbs. We just said make minor adjustments. That's all we said. There was a time where we spoke about it, and you remember on this show, we said, why isn't he playing Campaign? There was games he would not play Campaign. And everyone was complaining like, why don't you just he was playing okay. I thought we said it here, and you said it too. I didn't think Campaign was playing bad. Like, I didn't think, so why wasn't he playing? So we had valid questions because Brunson seemed tired. So we would say, why wouldn't you play these guys? So it's not by accident that they start playing these guys, and now we're looking like a better team, more refreshed, more rejuvenated. So I think the next piece is Mitch. I think it's him. And then also, too, do we need Mitch to play 25, 30 minutes? No, we don't. Why can't Mitch play anywhere between 15 minutes? So to me, I think he's the missing piece to where we could possibly go maybe 9 or maybe even 10 deep now with him. If they can maybe pull a magic trick out of his hat like he's usually done and maybe go out there and get another piece, great. But I think if we have an extra big out there that you can maybe pair him with Towns, I think we should be fine. And then this summer, we can go big fish hunting. But I think right now, to me, the guy that we're missing is Mitch.
I got to retort to that. I appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat chopping it up on this Friday afternoon. Appreciate you guys joining us. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button. As always, LV Live has a channel. As always, we do this weekly, just chopping it up, talking about the New York Knicks. Trading deadline is in less than a week, so I got a YouTube poll regarding that. What was Leon Rose's best personnel move, in your opinion? Was it the Josh Hart trade, the Mikal Bridges trade, the Karl Anthony Towns trade, the Jalen Brunson trade? Unfortunately, they only give me four options. You can add in the OG Anunoby trade in there as well. If you think it's an OG Anunoby trade, you can comment down in the chat. But yeah, LV, look, a lot of people do think that Mitch is the final piece. I see John in the chat says, why mess with anything? Y'all chemistry is still developing. Tony in the chat, the best move the Knicks made was bringing in Leon Rose. Can't argue with that. That's for sure. Disc Rovers in the chat. Yo, Alpha, what's going on? But look, my retort to that, LV, is look, the Knicks are 32-16, right? Without Mitchell Robinson. So that's not a small sample size. Like, we're talking about a team that's already shown they can compete at a high level. And even against the best teams in the league, I know, look, Memphis, say what you want, Denver, yada, 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 the Kings. But, look, those are good teams in the league. So now they've proven that they can beat good teams in the league, right? So I get it. So I get it. When it comes to that, but we've seen this story before, right? If Mitchell Robinson comes back and he gets hurt, his trade value tanks. And then what? We're stuck with an injury-prone big who can't stay on the floor when we could have flipped him for a real difference maker. If you want to, depends what is out there. If you want to call, I have a Hachimura trade on that I'm going to show you guys, a real difference maker, whatever you want to call a real difference maker. And looking around the league, like, you remember last year when Dallas made the trade for P.J. Washington and Gafford?
That was big.
That was big for them. And big move. And they got to the NBA Finals because of that move.
They did.
So my thinking is these opportunities don't come often. I think the Knicks really do have a legit shot this year. So the front office just has to ask, like, do we gamble on Mitchell Robinson staying healthy, or do we make a move now while we still can, while he's still getting hyped in the media, while Tom Thibodeau's still saying that he's running and jumping and he's close to returning? I just don't want to get to the playoffs and Mitch is hurt again, and you're looking at yourself like, all right, this guy definitely doesn't have any value anymore because he got hurt again. And you could try to see what you can get for him this summer. But at that point, it's like you might as well just keep him because people are looking at Mitch like this is an injury-prone big. Like, we're not going to invest in him.
Right.
So it's a hard question. It is, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the getting whatever you can from Mitch. I understand. Like, I really do think he can help this team, and I really do think that he would be a big piece for us, LV. But the more I've sat on it, the more I've thought about it. It depends what's out there as well. But I just think, you got to see what's out there. You got to improve this team on the bench, even though the bench has been playing well. And, the thing I have faith in is that this front office knows what they're doing. So either way, whatever side you lie on, is a side that if they stand pat, you got to trust them. If they make a move, you got to trust them. So that's where I stand on the whole Mitch thing.
Listen, agreed. Listen, your point is valid. In life and anything we do, right, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
That's whether you're at work, whether you're with your lady friend, whatever that is, right? The best ability is availability. And that's what Mitch hasn't had. So that's why you're saying what you're saying, which is valid.
Yeah.
I just think that it all depends on the return. Let's say that. And this is where we go back to in Leon we trust, right? If he can pull a magic trick out of his hat and get another big and a wing for Mitch, and let's say Sims or something like that, or you throw in some picks, then okay. A serviceable big and a nice wing. I'm speaking of someone that's about 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
If you can do that, then I'm okay with it. But if you can't, then it's going to be kind of tough because that's your biggest trade piece, your biggest one. Because we're not, just think of everybody in the starters. You're not moving anybody in the starters. No one's leaving.
Yeah, him and Deuce, I think.
Right, maybe Deuce. Okay, you could throw Deuce in there. But that's really it. So if you can't get back a good return, this is with anything in investments too, you're going to hold. You're going to hold and say, okay, let me see what the market looks like later, because I don't want to lose this asset for nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's where the 50-50 thing is, as far as you don't know what to do, because that's the toughest part. Because what is out there, who's going to be willing to bite on that $14 million with a big, that's 7'1", that's got foot and ankle problems? That's the worst thing for those guys.
I got a team.
Because once that starts to go, that's pretty much it for those guys. Hence, look at Embiid.
Yeah.
So that's the difficult part. So it really comes down to, honestly, what type of magic Leon can create. He's already proven that he can do so.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. What magic can Leon create? Appreciate you guys in the chat. I have an answer to your question. Like, who's the team that might bite? And it's a team that's been crying for a big in the media lately. So you guys can connect the dots. But Tony says, in order for us to get a wing, we will have to trade Sims and something else. I don't want to get rid of any of our rookies. What's going on, Tony? Patrick says, if New York decides to keep Mitchell, would it be difficult to change offenses from a 5-wide offense to more of a conventional offense depending on who is on the floor? That's from Patrick. I don't think so. The thing about this Knicks team is that they're very smart. They're very, the basketball intellect on this and in this starting five is through the roof. So I think when Mitch comes back, if that happens, I think he'll fit right in. They played with him before. Cat has played with the big LV, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Listen, he did it last year with Minnesota. Minnesota was the best team in the league last year.
Yeah.
So he did it with Gobert. So I'm sure the Knicks have Tibbs, and the coaching staff have already thought about ways that they can implement a too big set in certain, sets that they may run out there. And so I'm not even worried about that at all.
Buzzer Beater, what's going on? Says Kevin McCullough returning to the active lineup. We saw some Kevin McCullough highlights in the G League. It looked good too, so that gives you some promise. Hopefully he can get on the court, but that's I think a kind of a long ways away. But it's just good to see him on the court. He's dealt with a bunch of injuries in his career.
Right.
Stanley says it makes sense to move Mitch in the summer if he can show that he is healthy at the end of the year. Right now, we won't get much for him with his injury history. All right, LV, here's my plan. You got to go to a desperate team. You got to go to a desperate team looking for a big. And you know who that is? You know who's been crying in the media? Not crying, but recently. That team has been the Los Angeles Lakers, where Anthony Davis says, get us a center. Get us a center. So I came up with a wild trade package. And again, this is the part of the show where I come up with these fake trades. We're having fun, right? We're having fun.
That's the beauty of this.
So before you guys jump me, just take a look at this trade that I came up with, and then we can just talk through it. So here you go. It's a 3-team trade involving the Los Angeles Lakers, the New York Knicks, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Let me walk you through this trade. So you're trading Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims to the Lakers. They get their bigs. Congratulations, Lakers. Enough crying. The New York Knicks get Rui Hachimura. 6'9", can put the ball in the basket. Jackson Hayes, got to replace like Jericho Sims. A first-round pick from the Lakers. They're desperate, right? If you can get 2 seconds, if you can get just something, just picks. Something in return because they're desperate for a big. Then you have to make the money work. I tried to make the money work with the Lakers just straight up from Mitchell Robinson and Hachimura, but it just didn't work because of where the Knicks are in terms of, their first apron. You trade Deuce McBride to the New Orleans Pelicans, and you get Javonte Green, and you get another pick from the Pelicans because Deuce, I think, is valuable. So this trade right here is you're acquiring assets. You're acquiring picks. Now, if you want to say no way in hell the Pelicans are going to give you a first, no way the Lakers are going to give you a first, okay, I get it. Maybe you can get a first in 2 seconds or 3 seconds, something. But you're acquiring more picks. Deuce McBride hurts. It really does. I see you guys in the chat. It hurts. I love Deuce. And of course, he's starting to come around too, dunking on people and whatnot. Love Deuce. But you're getting Javonte Green, Rui Hachimura. You're getting that big wing off the bench who could score what you need. And you're getting assets. And you're getting a backup center in Jackson Hayes. LV, what do you say?
Ooh, I'll be honest with you. The more I look at this, the more I like it. The problem that I have here is that there's no way Tibbs is moving off of Deuce. No way. And I think if they could do this deal without Deuce, I think this happens. But Deuce is a homegrown guy. Tibbs has put a lot of time and effort into Deuce, watching him grow, watching him develop. And the Knicks have him on a really, really good contract. Really good contract. So that's the only issue I see here with Deuce. Now, if you can keep Deuce out the deal and Javonte Green, because we don't need Javonte Green. We already got the wings. If you have Nakamura with Jackson Hayes, that takes care of the rotation right there. Because with the Javonte Green piece, that's just added bodies on the bench that guys aren't going to play. Remember, Tibbs is only going maybe 10 deep, but he's going 9. So you figure the rotation right here. Let's just say this goes through, right? You got Nakamura, you got Precious Achua, you got Jackson Hayes. That's 8. Campaign. That's 9.
Hayes doesn't necessarily need to play, but
he's got to play. He's a big.
Yeah. Well, Precious is playing right now, and Cat's
right, but he's playing out of position, and he's really a 4. So that's the whole importance of Mitch coming back, because now you can keep Precious at the 4. He can sub in for OG Anunoby, and he doesn't have to play out of position. He can do it, but his real legit position is a 4. So that's where you would need him. So that's the importance of Mitch coming back. So Jackson Hayes, to me, takes Mitch's position. Nakamura is the wing that we need.
Hachimura.
So you can mix and match him with OG on top of Mikal. Mm-hmm. So now that's how that lineup could look. So you don't need Javonte Green because remember, Tibbs is only going 9 deep. Precious is definitely going to play. Now that's going to kind of force for campaign to play because we need a guard now. We need a guard for JB. So that's going to force that. Before, if Deuce was here in this deal, then we wouldn't even need campaign because they've already shown that Josh Hart can run the point. He can run the offense without JB out there, right? So I'm just saying how things pushes things back as far as rotations go. Mm-hmm. So this is all I'm thinking about. But the only thing is that I don't think Tibbs lets Deuce go, man. I think he's the one that's going to stop this deal. He's going to say there's no way I'm moving Deuce. No way I'm moving Deuce, especially for that contract and the way he's playing. He's a homegrown guy. I can see Mitch moving. I can see them saying, okay, let him go. Definitely Sims, but Deuce is the X factor here.
It hurts. I know. It hurts. And, this will be back-to-back years, Dante, Deuce McBride. But like I said, the reason why I added the Pelicans, you can't really make the money work with 2 teams, right, with the Lakers and the Knicks. So Deuce McBride going to the Pelicans, Javonte Green gives them extra depth. And don't discount these assets, right? The picks. You're recouping picks in the process of if you want to see strengthening the bench. Now, I know losing Deuce McBride it hurts in itself, but the additions of Hachimura, Javonte Green, and then Jackson Hayes mixed in as well with those picks, I think it could make up for the loss of Deuce McBride. So it gets you in the first round. But hey, trading deadline is next week. Once again, this is the Knicks Nation fake trade machine. I just want
say it, Ed. Listen, you want to play, you got to pay, right? You got to pay.
Let's see what you guys are saying about this trade. Nelly Nell says, not going to lie, I kind of like the Lakers trade. This Rover Giving away Deuce, big oof. And I wish his three ball was back, but he's hustling like crazy for us. Deuce's three ball is actually 39% from three this year. Vibe says, I like it, except Deuce is in it. Nah. Twisted says, I kind of like this, but Deuce going to be sadder than losing IQ. This Rover says, we spent too much time and effort building up Deuce.
This Rover. That's right.
Look, Woody says, no way, no how. He is untouchable. Deuce is the original Knicks. Coop says,
yeah, see, listen, Ant. See, listen, Ant. I'm not going to lie. Your trade is legit, man.
You like it,
This
right?
is legit. I'm not even knocking it, boss. This is really good. But the problem is Deuce. And I know why you did it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I let you explain it, but I knew why you did it. It's because of the money. But the problem is him. That's the one. Because you gotta have an offensive punch to come off the bench. That's what he provides for them. Defense and hustle, and he can knock down that three ball. So he gives you what IQ and Dante gave you, but at a bargain price. Right? And he's homegrown. Tibbs put a lot of work into this guy. That's the one thing. Now, I'll put it to you like this. Let's throw this out there. Would people be okay if you threw in Kolick or maybe Dottier in the deal to keep Deuce? I mean, I don't know if that money works out, but I'm just saying, would everybody be okay with that? Because to your point, Ant, you're valid. You got to pay to play, man. You got to. And so you got to give up something to get. We saw it. Listen, we saw it with getting Big Cat, right? We had to give up Dante. I was pissed by that, but I said I understand it because Minnesota had us by the you know what. And so, you want Big Cat? We want Dante. That's who we want. We'll take Randall. We'll take that contract. We want to trade the guy anyway. Mm-hmm. But we really want Dante. So if you want Big Cat, you got to give up Dante. And then Nick said, you know what? Let's make it happen. And so this is where this kind of comes into play here, Ant.
Rui Hachimura this year, 12 points a game, 42% from three. He's 6'8". Man, I would love him off the bench, LV.
I like him. I like him a lot, Ant. I like him a lot. You know also, too, I like him a lot, too, Ant, because he's very similar to OG Anunoby. He's big.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's big, man. He's big. He's a big wing. So that's what you need to compete in the playoffs. So imagine him coming in for OG Anunoby. Mm-hmm. You don't skip a beat, really, because you still have size. You still have a guy that can defend the 4, can defend the 5 if need be. So you don't really miss anything. So that's the beauty of him. And he could knock down the 3 ball. But most importantly to me is the size. Because certain times we roll out certain lineups, especially against OKC, and you saw the size difference. We look small out there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I really, really like him.
The reason why I like this trade is because you're giving away Deuce, which hurts, but you're also acquiring assets. Like I said, if the Lakers are going to decide to give you a first-round pick, I doubt it because they're trading away Rui. Maybe they gave you a second, 2 seconds. But you're also acquiring assets to furthermore to strengthening your bench next year. Because right now, the allure of Mitchell Robinson is, he's going to be back. We're going to get this big center back, him paired with Karl-Anthony Towns. That lineup with Cat and Mitchell Robinson is going to be amazing. But the downside is he comes back, gets hurt again, then you don't see Mitch again. So then he has no value. I think you trade him right before he comes back. And I don't know, LV, do you think they're holding him out on purpose? Maybe they're trading him before. Maybe they're holding him out before the trading deadline because they don't want him to come back now and get hurt, and then his value is shot. So
I think. I heard Ian Begley talk, and he basically stated that something happened with his recovery. You know what I mean? They thought he was supposed to remember his reports. Remember December or January? Remember that?
Yeah.
I said it here and I said it on my show. I said, I don't think he's coming back till after the trade deadline. After the All-Star break. I don't think he's coming back till then. And the reason why I said that is because I think they're really, really going to hold him back. And I think that's what the Knicks are doing. I think if they really, really needed him, I think he'll be probably playing in a week. But I think for them, what's the rush? We're rolling. So if we can keep him, because he's already running. He's already running right now. So he's running. So that means to me, I'm a former athlete. And if I'm running, I could do contact.
Yeah.
So that means I could pretty much kind of start picking it up. But they're really, I think, kind of dragging their feet because they want to make sure when when they press the go button, we don't want to hear he needs another week. Like, we don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think also, too, the beauty of having the big cat is the fact that you can have Mitch come back and play like anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes a night,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you can gradually rev him up because he's going to need to be revved up. He's not going to be ready to go right away. You rev him up slowly so he'll be ready for April and May. That's the key. We want to make sure guys are ready for that time of the year when we're really going to need them, need them most. So I think, and the plan was January, but I think because how well we've been playing, I think the Knicks probably said, yo, why not wait till after All-Star break? Just hold him until then.
Yeah.
And then we can really let him go. You know what I mean? Because he is running. But, Ant, listen, man, look, I'm not denying anything you're saying. Because to your point, listen, man, look, there's no guarantee with this guy. So if we can get something for him now, let's not play with it and just say, all right, let's just make the move. Forget it. Let's just go. Because we can't really play because to your point, if we lean into him and all it takes for him to fall over on someone's foot and he's back out again, now we're stuck with the $14 million that we got to pay him. We're not going to be able to move him, right? So that's going to be really tough to do because the reality is this, guys. Let's be honest. And I want to ask everybody here in the chat. I want you to really think about it. If he didn't get hurt last year, do we move him in the summer and then we have enough money to pay iHeart? Because then we probably could have gave more iHeart more money on top of the bonus. But we couldn't move him. So that's why the whole iHeart thing happened the way it did and the whole Big Cat thing happened the way it did. So if Mitch doesn't get hurt and we were able to move Mitch, so then we got enough money for iHeart and we keep iHeart. Think of how that changes things. Think of how that changes that whole dynamic.
Regarding that, the Knicks were victims to the CBA in terms of iHeart.
So. But see, they would have been able to give him like the signing bonus, like more money, because they would have had the money from the Mitch trade.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how I think that would have kind of worked out.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? But because they kept Mitch, that's extra money on the books. They wouldn't have been. They didn't have nothing to give iHeart but that. So they could have kind of gave him a little money on top, kind of like what OKC did, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't make that move because they still kept Mitch. So that injury kind of pushed the Knicks back, and it forced the Knicks to kind of make the decision they did with Big Cat.
Gotcha.
So to your point, which is valid, yo, man, it's like, what do you do, man? It's like, you know what? It's like playing poker, right? You know what? I'm done. Let's do it. Let's flip it. Let's do it. Let's get him out of here, man. Because there's no guarantee with this guy.
That's the thing. There's no guarantee. Right. I just don't want to get to a point where he comes back and he's like dealing with the same thing, and it's just frustrating. And then what? Then your only valuable trade piece is Deuce McBride, right? And no one's gonna want Mitchell Robinson because this guy is always hurt. Maybe teams are thinking like that now, but this trade package that I came up with, take advantage of a desperate team that thinks they can win, thinks they can fix Mitchell Robinson. You trade him Mitch, you get Rui, Jackson, and then in order to make the money work again, you get Deuce, you ship Deuce to the Pelicans, which hurts, and then you get Javonte Green, which is also a nice piece. Sneaky nice piece. Also, aside from this trade, LV, they can do Jericho Sims, like a couple of second round picks for Javonte Green. Would you do that? And then keep Mitch and still get Javonte Green? Because Sims has been in rumors as well. And I think it all depends on Mitch, man. It all comes back to Mitch. Like if they think
it all comes back to him. It all comes back to him. If
they think that he's not going to come back, then you can't trade Jericho.
Yeah, right. You can't trade Jericho. No, you can't because if something happens to Big Cat, that's it. Right. Yeah. So we need a big, and like I said, Precious is not really a 5. He can play it, but that's not really what he is. Hey man, listen, I'll be honest with you. You got me thinking now here, man. I'm thinking about this summer.
Yeah.
I like Akamora, man. I like him, man. He's a big wing, man. He reminds me of OG. and he can shoot the three, man. If you can get a guy like that to come off the bench for the Knicks,
I'm telling you.
and listen, I'm being honest, listen, man, you got me thinking. And I do like Jackson Hayes too. He's big, he's active, he's athletic, he's about 6'10", 6'11". He blocks shots. I've seen him play quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like it, man. You have me thinking I do. And here's the thing, guys. Like, I love Sims. Like, Sims is homegrown too. But I think the issue with Sims is that anybody that's played hoops and kind of played, you kind of know a guy that's really athletic, but he doesn't really want to play. Someone's forcing him to play. It feels that way with Sims. Like, he looks like a guy, because there's been times, and we watch games, he's not even looking at the basket. Like, I'm like, dude, you got to be locked into the game, So I don't know how motivated he is to play. You know what I mean? Some guys are big and athletic, and they're just there for the check. You know what I mean? And But really deep inside, he wants to be an architect, if that makes any sense.
It does.
And so for me, I just don't see Sims being too locked in. That's why I'm ready to kind of move off of him. You know what I mean? Because he does have upside. He is athletic. But I see the same athleticism in Jackson Hayes that I do with Sims, but he's locked in. Like, do you see the difference now? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why I like the Jackson Hayes piece also. So good job by you, man. Good job by you. It's very interesting. Definitely have me thinking here. I like that because I like Hachimura, man. He's big.
Yeah,
and he's athletic.
Rui Hachimura is signed for the next. He signed next year too, an $18 million contract, 6'8". He could put the ball in the basket. So the offense you're losing with Deuce, he could replace that. Obviously, two different positions, but it gives you an extra piece off the bench, an extra 6'8" wing that can, play on both sides of the court.
But hey, guys, but listen, check it out though. I'm gonna throw this out there. Everybody still keep your hopes up, okay? Because Dante's out with a toe injury. Mm-hmm. So there might be a way that Dante might be low-key tanking in Minnesota to make his way back home to the Knicks, and he can make up for that spot that Ant got Deuce going to New Orleans. And then Dante can slither his way back in that spot, and he'll be back home, baby. Back home. You know what I mean? So, sounds good, Ant. I like it.
Hey, trading deadline is always fun coming up with these trades. And, I just whipped that up, like, no lie, like an hour and a half ago. And I was like, you know what? I actually like this. I know it hurts, right. Like the Deuce McBride part, it stings, and you don't want to see him go. But the acquisition of more picks, and you get better, and you have more flexibility with the bench because Hachimura's on a good deal. But, hey, I mean, that's why, we trust Leon Rhodes. We trust his front office. Mm-hmm. So going back to the poll, LV, I just want to get your take. What was Leon Rhodes' best personnel move, in your opinion? Josh Hart trade, Mikal Bridges trade, Karl Anthony Towns trade, Jalen Brunson trade, or the Jalen Brunson signing, or the OG Anunoby trade?
Oh, man, top of the list, man. It's got to be getting JB, man. Yeah. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming, man. Nobody. The only person I would say who saw this coming was probably his father. His father was probably the only guy that knew who his son was going to be. You know what I'm saying? If given the keys to the car, you say, yo, listen, this is your franchise. You run the show. You the man now. You don't got to worry about anybody else. His pops was probably the only one that knew. But outside of anybody else on this planet, no one saw this coming, man. No one saw what this kid is, man. I mean, this is like, oh man, this is like finding a fountain of youth, man. This is like something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is, come on, man. No one ever saw this coming. This is probably the best move in the NBA ever, man. That's my opinion. Ever.
Ooh, ever.
Because no one saw this coming, man. The return on this is insane, the return.
Yep.
You got a perennial all-star that if he keeps going, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. No one saw that coming with this guy. Everyone knew what Shaq was going to be when he got traded. Everyone knew KD going to, going to the Warriors was going to be what it was going to be. Everybody knew T-Mac had skills when he went from Toronto to Orlando. They knew who these guys were. But no one saw this guy be what he is. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, that's ever, man. Ever. The biggest move ever.
I agree. Look, Leon, the beauty of Leon Rhodes is that he's had some amazing amazing moves. And, you know, everything has kind of led to one another. Like the JB signing for, I think it was 100 million at first. People called that an overpay. He quickly demolished those talks. Playoff JB, LV is what I love the most because some guys can't perform in the playoffs and JB performs even better in the playoffs. And when the lights get brighter, JB shines. And you just love that. And look, I think right after the JB signing, it's the Josh Hart trade. I think Mike Breen said it on the Michael K show. Josh Hart is probably one of the best trades in franchise history. Those are the words from the great Mike Breen. And hey, it's up there. I would agree. You know, Hart has come in here and, you know, got to credit to Tom Thibodeau too, because he's kind of been kind of the guy on the outside looking in. He's actually gotten these guys that have career seasons. I mean, Dante
Agreed.
when he was here. Now you look at him in Minnesota, he's not playing well. Julius. So, but yeah, Josh Hart, I think, kind of makes the engine run, the oil in the engine. But I mean, hey, it's just fun to have these conversations, right? I mean, we're here now.
Agreed. And I think a lot of it has to be said, man. You know, we can't take for granted chemistry, right?
Yeah.
And guys wanting to be certain places. You know, guys are going to play better in certain settings, man, in certain, like, you know, teams and, you know, whatever. You know, Josh Hart was always a good player, but he wasn't what he is now at other places.
Mm-hmm.
We got Josh Hart right now, 4 years, $81 million. If he was to go out in the market right now, how much money he's getting at?
What these players are getting paid? Probably over 150.
He's probably, exactly right.
Yeah.
There's no question because of how well he's played here, especially when the lights have been the brightest. Right, the Knicks are always on TV now, so that's a lot of pressure. But Josh Hart is playing beyond that. So, you know, we can't take for granted how settings and being someplace where you want to be, being close to home around your family, being comfortable with your friends, right? All that stuff matters. Look at what Dante was last year, man. He had the best season of his career. It's not by accident, man.
Yeah.
He's someplace where he wants to be. Same thing with Brunson. Same thing with Josh Hart. Look at what McKellar's doing right now. Everybody was killing him. Last 2 months, McKellar's averaging 20, shooting over 50% from the field and shooting 40% from three. Last 2 months. We told everybody chill out and relax, right? Look how well he's been playing. Last 3 games, he's been locking down John Morant. He locked down Trae Young. And he put the clamps on Murray in the fourth quarter. So what I'm saying is location and where you need to be matters, man. So it's not by accident that these deals have worked out the way that they have. It's just these guys know, man, what type of guys they want, right? They're not going out just getting anybody. They're getting a certain type of guy that fits a certain type of system that's going to be great for this locker room. To me, and that's all Leon, man.
Shout out to Mr. Rose. So we got 64 votes on that poll. Jalen Brunson signing is winning that poll. I think I'm going to do another poll regarding, do you want this Knicks team to make another trade? So I guess I'll put that out there soon. But yeah, trading deadline is less than a week. So LV and I have been talking about certain trades. Is there a certain trade? So would you be upset if they don't make a move, or would you be fine?
I wouldn't be upset because, man, you know, you got to think, man, you know, people are going to want big money, man, because they know, you know, especially the contenders, right? So let's say, like, a perfect example, right? Everyone has been talking about the kid up there in Toronto who I like. What's his name? Chris Broussard, right? Broussard. What's his name?
Chris
I have it right here.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher, right? Am I saying it right? Chris Boucher, right? He's up there in Toronto. I like maybe. Right. My French is not good, so please, everybody correct me. Right? Help me. He's big. He's like 6'7", 6'8", but he can shoot. Mm-hmm. He's a really good wing up there. But Toronto's going to want big money for him. If I'm correct, I think he's making like $10 million a year. So once again, like, getting those guys like that are expensive. You know what I mean? Especially when you're up against the second apron. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks don't make a deal because what they have and then what some team may be asking for them to give up, right? And once they know you really want something to kind of put you over the edge, right? And they're gonna want to hold. It's kind of like what happened with the whole Big Cat thing, right? They're gonna say, oh, okay, you really want this guy? Okay, cool. We want Precious, we want Deuce, and we want your second round pick. You're like, yo, my man, relax, bro. We're not doing that. right? So that's why I wouldn't be surprised, man, because of what people are going to be asking for, because they know the Knicks are desperate to make a move, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't be shocked if we don't do anything.
Jake Fisher came out with an interesting article a couple of days ago saying that the Knicks are a team to be watched at the NBA trading deadline. He thinks that the Knicks are up to something. So Jake Fisher, he's a good reporter, has broken some news about trades and signings. So he says the Knicks are a team to watch, and he thinks that the Knicks are going to trade Mitchell Robinson. So, but hey, I mean, it depends who you ask, LV. I mean, Ian Begley has been making his rounds around shows. He even has a show on YouTube, and he's been saying that the name that he always mentions is Valanciunas in Washington. That name has always been linked to the New York Knicks, and it could work literally like a straight up trade, Mitchell Robinson for Valanciunas, and you probably have to give up a second, but I think, look, Washington, I think they've lost 13 in a row. And Valanciunas, his name is he's probably going to get traded by next week. But LV, before I see your frustration, but before we get there, Valanciunas, good score. He can stretch the floor a little bit. And he's healthy. And he's a body. And he's on the older side, 31, 32, I think, maybe older than that. It's crazy. 31, 32 is considered old, by the way. That's crazy. But Valanciunas, no, I see your face.
He can't defend a cone, man. He's got lead in his feet. He can't move his feet, man. And that's the thing with Tibbs. Like, you got to be able to defend, man. You got to be able to defend. When the playoffs come, you got to be able to lock in defensively, man. We got enough dudes that could score the pill. We need him to play defense, block shots, and rebound. That's the thing with Mitch. That's why Mitch is a monster.
Yeah.
Because at 7'1", 7'2", that's all he does. And that's the beauty of him. We don't need Valanciunas, who can barely move. Like we need athletic bigs, man. Because listen, can Valanciunas, if Cat gets in foul trouble, right? Mm-hmm. Can Valanciunas come in and guard Porzingis? If Cat gets in foul trouble, can Valanciunas come in and guard someone like Jared Allen or Mobley? Like, these are the things I think about, because it's the playoffs. So you're not playing against the Charlotte Hornets. You're playing against legit teams that got legit bigs. What would Valanciunas do if we play Orlando and the size they got out there? They would be running circles around that guy. So you got to be able to defend. Like, that's the biggest thing with him. And so that's my biggest concern. Now, it makes sense because it's the easiest move to make.
Yeah.
But does it really make sense for your team? And is he going to really help us get over the mountaintop? Like, that's the key. You know what I'm saying? And hey, he can come in. He can change my mind. I mean, I don't know. But I've seen enough of him to know that what he could do. If I'm correct, I don't even think he's starting for the Wizards, man. I think he's coming off the bench.
Yeah. I see a lot of people. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. I see you all in the chat. People are saying, I say keep Mitch and make a spot for TJ Warren and send Top into the G League and bring in Okiki.
I like Tony. Tony, that's good, man. I like Okiki, man. I like him.
Jonas Valanciunas is garbage. We don't need another Sims. The truth hurts, says keep Mitch. And Rodney says Moses Brown can defend and rebound well. Vibe says, and that is why we need Mitchell Robinson. Tony says, what about Marcus Smart? Vibe says, hard no for me. The thing about Valanciunas is he signed for an extra year. I mean, he's owed $9 million this year, $10 million next year, and Mitch is owed, I think, $12 million next year. So that gives you an extra $2 million in wiggle room. He signed 2026 and 2027 as well. Look, he's 32. He turns 33 in May. He could score. Right, offensive arsenal. I think he's underrated. Like he could score, but like you said, he's a cone. Like he's defensively, he's a cone. And is that what this Knicks team needs? Do they need more
Right.
scoring, or do they just need a body, right, to prevent an injury? God forbid. We can, like we said, going back to the Mitch Robinson conversation, we can keep going back to when Mitch is out there. He's one of the league's best interior defenders, rim protector, shot blocker, offensive rebounder, the whole nine. But like you said, the best availability. What was it? The best ability is availability.
There you go. That's right.
So,
That's right. And you're valid, man, and everything you're saying. And also, too, Ed, it's starting to circulate around there. I think it might be true, man. I mean, I heard James Edwards III. He said it too, that he heard Mitch people, Knicks are having conversations about Mitch also.
mm-hmm.
So, who was the first guy you said that mentioned it just now? You said who was it? What was the guy's name?
Jake Fisher, I believe his name.
So Jake, so Jake Fisher saying it, right? And James Edwards III is saying it. It's being circulated now.
Begley.
Do you know what I mean? Begley, right? It's being circulated out there now. Remember, trade deadline is February 6th. Tomorrow's February. So it's starting to heat up, right? It's starting to heat up now that it's being mentioned that Mitch, they're having conversations about Mitch. So everybody out there in Knicks Nation, man, the whole Knicks family, man, don't be shocked if he gets moved, because if all these guys are saying the same thing, that means conversations are being had. And so that means Leon's in the background working his magic. And we could see Rudy Yakamura over here with Jackson Hayes. We could see that.
Oh, man. Tony says a bench of Mitch, Presses, TJ Warren, Deuce, Payne, and Okiki is good. All right, those of you just joining, I came up with this trade. The trade that LV is talking about is this trade package that I came up with. It's a massive trade. The Lakers are desperate for a center, so you give them Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims. Knicks get Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes. And in order to make the money work, because you can't make the money work by just giving up Mitchell Robinson for Hachimura, considering the Knicks are in the first apron, you got to get a third team involved. You give the Pelicans Deuce McBride. They're kind of going through a rebuild. So, you give them Deuce and you get assets in return, whether that's a first-round pick, multiple second-round picks. You get the point. This gives you more flexibility in the future. And in my opinion, it also bolsters the bench. Your bench improves from this trade, in my opinion, because, you can say Mitchell Robinson and Miles McBride. It's a better combination of Hachimura, Hayes, and Javante. But no Mitchell Robinson, we just haven't seen him on the court. So this is the trade LV was talking about. Rui Hachimura in New York. And look, it's honestly taking advantage of a team that's desperate for a center. And the Lakers have been in the media. Anthony Davis has been crying in the media. We need a center. And hey, call the Lakers.
He doesn't want to play the five, man. He can play it, but he doesn't like playing the five. He likes playing the four because he's versatile like that. He could play, he could play the four, he could play the five. He's big. Anthony Davis is about 6'10", 6'11", he's about 6'11".
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys don't like playing the five, man, because they don't like having to deal with those big guys and stuff. They want to be on the wing kind of doing their thing. And so I'm not surprised that he's begging for a big, you know what I mean? Because he don't want to have to be down there banging the way he is.
Yeah, so this was, it's an interesting trade, but I think I'm starting to get LV on board with this one. Obviously, the piece that hurts is Deuce, though. But hey, it hurt losing Dante, right? I mean, sometimes it hurts, and sometimes you got to give to get. And in my opinion, in order to improve this bench team, if you think that the only thing that this Knicks team really needs is a bench, you got to give to get. And, this was just one trade. Another Knicks Nation fake trade. So don't come after me. But I think it's not like a crazy trade, LV. It's not like something that can happen.
No. Listen, look, man. If they broke up the Nova connection to get the big cat, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't do this. Listen. Leon has done a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't like, right? A lot of people was upset that we sent off IQ. and got OG Anunoby, right?
There you go.
A lot of
Yep.
people was upset about that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were extremely upset. I mean, oh man, people were losing it when we sent Dante out of here,
Yeah.
right? So I just wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? I really wouldn't. If let's once again, things are heating up, right? February 6th is right around the corner. We're continuing to hear things with Mitch now, man. I didn't think we were going to hear this, but we're hearing like legitimate Knicks guys who are in the mix, these columnists who are right there in them locker rooms, who are talking to GMs, who are talking to people behind the scenes that really move and shake, that they're hearing Mitchell Robinson's name circulating.
Yeah.
So that should tell you something. So just pay attention, guys, because it's heating up. It's right around the corner. So I would not be surprised if the Knicks are cooking up something to get Mitch, and trust and believe. Trust in Leon, because he's going to get back a piece that is legit. He's not going to get back a scrub. He's not going to do that. He hasn't proven that. So if they're dealing Mitch, if they're giving up something else like Sims or Deuce or whatever, trust and believe he's getting back something legit that's going to really help us contribute to us winning this year.
Likewise. And look, 5-game winning streak, and we both think that the Knicks are one piece away off that bench. And we've been talking about it throughout this episode and just bantering back and forth. But Lakers coming up. So during this 5-game winning streak, just a couple of Knicks stats. The Knicks are fourth best in the NBA at turning the ball over, 13 a game. Last 3 games are only allowing 22 points in the fourth quarter. That's fourth best. Still dead last in opponent three-point percentage, by the way. So that's still an issue, but they are fifth in three-point percentage. The minutes are down. Guys are playing well. OG's back. Cat's finger is a concern, maybe. But Brunson is playing like an MVP. I mean, 33 and 15 against Denver. So, just get you thinking, like, if this Knicks team was to acquire another piece off the bench, why not us? Why?
Listen, agreed, man. Agreed.
Us?
Agreed. Listen, look, we've been rolling, man. We've been rolling as a team. We've been rolling. Listen, you got to understand, last 2 months, guys, last 2 months, we're number 2 in offensive rating in the league. And you ready? We're number 7 in the league in defensive rating. Last 2 months. So we're right there, man. We're right there in the hunt. We're right there considered an elite team. And we're not playing bumps. So we still got the toughest schedule in the league coming forward. But you got to like what we're doing. So if we can get a couple of other pieces. Say again?
We're the third hardest schedule remaining, I think. That's the last
right now we're the third?
But yeah, it's top 3. Yeah.
Okay, top 3. So we're top 3 toughest schedule in the league right now.
Yeah.
So guys, listen, man, if we can keep this going and keep this rolling, we get a couple of pieces off the bench. We're able to maybe bring up a TJ Warren or Kiki, whatever they decide to go, whatever direction they decide to go in. I still do love what we're doing. I still do love the direction we're going to. And to me, the key is this. If Tibbs can still just not be stubborn and keep that 9-man rotation, whoever the 9 is, I don't care. But just keep that and keep these guys fresh, because the key is not playing the best basketball now. The key is playing your best basketball in April and May. That's the goal. And so that's, to me, what we got to keep rolling with.
Yes, sir. Lakers on deck. Let's get this win. Then we have the Houston Rockets. All right, LV. I wanted to get your take before we end it. Quick 5-minute. I didn't present this to you before the show, but quick 5-minute reaction to Mr. Draymond Green calling out Karl-Anthony Towns during the Knicks game. So Draymond had this to say about Karl-Anthony Towns. He said, "Cat in a full front on Joker. Even if you win the game, it don't matter. You will never hold the respect from an opponent to win at the highest level. Pride must make you sit down and guard, even if you give up 40. Winning is a mindset, and in order to win a championship, you have to win the mental edge. That's why only a few guys per era win all the championships. They understand that thing."
This guy is pure comedy, man. I mean, I saw this and I just kind of just kept scrolling.
Yeah.
Who would he be if he was not on the Warriors? Who would he be, man?
Say it.
Who would he be?
Say it.
My man probably be overseas, like speaking Swahili or something like that, man. Talking Japanese, whatever. He probably wouldn't even be in the league, man. He's so lucky about the location that he's in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's able to play with Hall of Famers from Klay Thompson, of course, to Chef Curry, of course, to KD. And he ran KD out of there because of his big mouth. So what I'm saying is there's no way, man. Pride for what? Just win the game. Nobody's ego was caught up. And the cat is getting $50 million a year, and he's starting for the East in the All-Star game. What is this guy talking about? And he's not even playing now. He's in trouble again, or he's hurt. Who knows what's going on with him? He's over there punching dudes in their faces. I mean, you can't take this guy serious, man.
Yeah.
You really can't.
Nope.
And so clowns like this, you just scroll past and keep it going because, he's obviously got some issues with Cat. I don't know what it is. I really don't know, and I don't care. But my thing is, come on, man, just be grateful. Be grateful for what you've been blessed with. Because if he wasn't there, he probably would be out the league, man. How about that? He will probably be out the league.
Well said, man. And this was during the game. He was in the locker room. He tweeted this before the Warriors game. They had a game that night too. And I saw this, and like you said, Karl-Anthony Towns and Draymond Green, seems like it's personal, which I don't understand because what he's saying here is you have to hold the respect from an opponent to win at the highest level. Pride must make you sit down and guard, even if you're give up 40. Winning is a mindset in order to win a championship. Bro, what are you talking about? Karl-Anthony Towns just like it's like he was drunk or something before the game. Like it's Karl-Anthony Towns beat Jokic last year in the playoffs. They beat him.
And he was the main reason why, because he locked up Joker during that whole time. He was guarding himself. It wasn't Rudy, it was Cat.
Yeah. So, look, Karl-Anthony Towns' perception is that he is soft. He doesn't have the mental toughness. But, I mean, look, I can go down the Boston Celtics roster and I can point out like three guys on that team who he can tweet about as well. So, this just made absolutely no sense. It goes like the Knicks hate is real in the media. Draymond Green has been on TNT. Shaq, the Knicks hate is real. And then they don't like to see us win. They don't like to see us play well. It's like they're jealous or something. And I get it. Draymond has rings, so you can say, who am I to say anything when Draymond Green has won championships? But like LV said, you wouldn't have won nothing without Mr. Chef Curry, by the way. So, Draymond Green, please sit down.
Yeah, man, he's a clown for this. Man.
Just Rover says Draymond
Green. Also too, and like there's no need. Look at this Rover. Look at my man coming through, always in the clutch. You are a Shanghai shark.
Yep.
You got that right, brother. That's right. He'll be over there with Steph Marbury. You might have a statue over there next to Steph.
Yeah.
Right over there in China.
You are Shanghai Shark. Robert says, didn't he implode in the finals and got suspended? Yes, he did. Isaiah says, man, I was so appalled. I first discovered this, and I had to tell you last game. Yeah, Isaiah brought it up to me in the chat. What's going on, Isaiah? This Rover says, now we already know that Cat is rock. Whoa, pause. Tony says, I love how
we love you, man. You gotta pause on that.
I love how Towns doesn't feed into that. Very professional, unlike Green. Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns is a professional. Just
man, he don't.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't understand this, LV. Like
me neither.
I'm sitting there like
because I think, and like the question is why,
yeah,
like why you like he's playing. We know how great Joker is, man. Towns has proven on numerous times that he plays well against Joker. So I'm all the way confused as to why do you feel a need to attack Cat when it's a team sport. So let me guard him one-on-one so he can give me 40 and we lose. Just for pride? I thought the whole point was winning the game, my man. Mm-hmm. Mental edge on what? My team won. That's the mental edge I got. My team won by 10. Yeah. Like, where's your motive? But once again, man, this guy, he's all over the place. Remember, he was going to retire, remember? Because he thought that, he had mental issues because he's out there tripping people and punching people. He's all over the place. So, so things that he says, I just kind of take with a grain of salt. Like, because he doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, stupidity. So that's
Yeah.
the Draymond Green update versus Karl Anthony Towns, which is, I'm upset that we gave it some time, but we just had to speak on it. All right, LV, Lakers coming up. What do you expect? A win?
Yeah, I got us winning that game. I got us winning. Can't take them lightly. I got us winning.
Yeah.
To
No
me, I don't
Anthony
know by
Davis,
how
so
much or
should be
what,
good.
but I think we definitely winning that game. The one game I'm really looking forward to is Monday night against the Rockets. That's the game, man,
Yep.
because they're rolling, man. They're rolling. They're number 2 in the West right now. If I'm correct, I think they beat the Cavaliers twice this year, I think, or something like that. I don't know, man, but yo, they're rolling, man. They look really good. Young, athletic, they defend. Yume Hadoka, man, that same mindset he had at Boston, where he got them right on the cusp of the championship, he's bringing that same thing over there to Houston, man. So for me, I'm looking forward more to that game than even the Boston game, because the Boston game is easy for them to get up for, right? Because of
Mm-hmm.
what happened in game one, right? I understand that. But Monday's the game, man,
Yeah.
because these guys are going to come in ready to play, man. They've been like the Dragon Slayers, man, all year. So that to me is going to be the game, man. Monday.
They just beat Memphis actually in Memphis. I mean, no, Memphis beat them in Memphis. So that's the beauty of the NBA. Anyone can get got. We
Right.
smoked. We spanked Memphis and they beat the Houston Rockets at home. So should be a dogfight. Lakers. It's always fun playing LeBron and MSG. Bronny James. I see someone in the chat says, "Hope it's not a trap game. Go all in. Make LeBron look like Bronny. This rover. Let's go Knicks." Five says, "I got us winning by 25 or more." LeBron is 12-1 in his last 13 games at MSG. This must end tomorrow. Yeah. And then we'll end it on this. In Cat's career, in all 24 games he has played against Jokic, he's held him to under 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's phenomenal, in my opinion. Mic drop. Mic drop. All right, LV. This was fun. Always get to chop it up. Let's go Knicks. Let's get this dub tomorrow. No post game
right.
from me. So make sure you guys tune into LV's YouTube channel and catch the post game on his end. No post game for me. Got some things going on. So yeah, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.